Damn it. The contagion's spreading at an exponential rate. Johnson, I need those R0 vectors. I need them now.
I'm calculating as fast as I can, sir.
Type harder than you've ever typed, Johnson. This whole damn planet's burning down.
Almost done.
We've got to nail down what wretched pit this virus crawled out of.
I've transferred the files to your console, sir.
Got it. But wait, run the numbers again. This doesn't make any damn sense.
I can assure you that the equations are quite accurate.
But that would mean that the contagion came from... No, it can't be.
But it can, sir. The virus came from this very lab.
But how? But how could it come from my lab?
Look at me, and you will see the truth.
What? You look like a scientist. Weird thing to say, Johnson.
Why don't you take another look?
My God.
I'm a bat. I mean, look at me. I'm a bat. What, you're trying to say you didn't notice? You didn't notice I'm a bat? It's a damn bat virus, for God's sakes. You didn't notice?
Oh, shit. Hey, welcome in. Well, remember all that talk about the coronavirus possibly coming from a biolab in Wuhan? There was a lot of talk about it last year. I mean, here, June 19th, 2020. Did COVID-19 come from a lab? Was it deliberate? That was from Forbes. NBC News. Did the coronavirus really escape from a Chinese lab? May 4th. Here's one, June 2nd, 2020. The case is building that COVID-19 had a lab origin. That's from the Independent Science News. But then there pretty much wasn't any more stories on it. It just went very, very quiet. The media seemed to just completely lose all interest in that question, I think largely for political reasons. But it seems to be coming back again, this idea. And the media still seems to be fairly hostile towards it. I mean, here's from the Daily Beast. Bill Maher pushes Steve Bannon Wuhan lab COVID conspiracy. So Daily Beast is left-wing, and the left seems to be very against this idea. I don't know why, other than just politics. I guess the idea that it might have been made in a lab has now become like a Republican idea or something, or a Trump idea, or an orange idea. Orange idea bad? But it is an interesting question because that lab was pretty darn close to where that market was. In fact, let's take a look here. You can see there's the Hunan Seafood Market, and then right over here, the Wuhan Institute of Virology, and that's 8 miles distant. Seems to be an awful coincidence, doesn't it? Now, I don't know at all. I would like to know the answer, though. I mean, it sure does seem like a coincidence. It seems like something worth looking into, doesn't it? It really does. But there just seems to be total radio or almost total radio silence on this for months and months. But suddenly it's starting to get a bit of attention. Let's go back to Bill Maher here. Just going to interrupt for 1 second to say, if you like this content, subscribe so you can see more. Thanks a lot. So he had Bret Weinstein on there, and his wife, Heather Hing, and they discussed the origins of COVID-19. And you might remember Weinstein from the Evergreen State College situation where the students ran amok and went crazy, and they freaked out because he was opposed to a day when they had said that white people weren't supposed to go on the campus. And he thought this was a bad idea and would be counterproductive, and he is, of course, and his wife are liberals. They're just principled liberals. And, of course, in the Daily Beast here, they have to totally skew this. They say he protested a Minority Appreciation Day. That's not what it was. So you can see here the vitriol that they have already just about this idea that it might have come from a lab. What do they know? Are they virologists? I don't know. I'm not saying I know anything. I'm just saying it would be interesting if somebody would try and get some answers to these questions, wouldn't it? That might be useful. But there is a vitriol just against the very idea itself, and this is so emblematic of the modern media. Zero interest in informing the public. It's just about propaganda. Anyway, what did Bill Maher say? He interviewed them, and what did he say? He said, "We've heard a lot recently about the fact that maybe the virus did start in a lab. Let's talk about that. The fact that there is this lab, I think it's the only one in the world quite like it, in Wuhan, where it started. It would be almost a conspiracy theory to think it didn't start in a lab, right? And that theory was demonized at first. And then Bill Maher goes on to say that it looks like 50-50 odds. Now, Bill Maher is certainly, he's one of the worst TDS sufferers out there. Absolutely one of the worst TDS guys out there. But he doesn't go with the left orthodoxy on everything all the time, and here's an example of that. But anyway, Weinstein replied, "Oh, it's far more likely than that, more likely than 50-50. He added, it looked to be about 90% probability that it originated in a lab. So anyway, I mean, that's interesting. He feels that it's 90% probability. Do I know that he's right? I don't know. But, I mean, at least it's a conversation that's happening. And look at this. This is from New York Magazine. This is from January 4th of this year. The lab leak hypothesis. For decades, scientists have been hot-wiring viruses in hopes of preventing a pandemic, but not causing one. But what if? So they're saying in this article, perhaps this did come from a lab. And this journalist comes right out and says it. What happened was fairly simple, I've come to believe. It was an accident. A virus spent some time in a laboratory, and eventually it got out. SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19, began its existence inside a bat. Then it learned how to infect people in a claustrophobic mine shaft, and then it was made more infectious in one or more laboratories, perhaps as part of a scientist's well-intentioned but risky effort to create a broad-spectrum vaccine. SARS-2 was not designed as a biological weapon, but it was, I think, designed. Many thoughtful people dismiss this notion, and they may be right. Yeah, they also may be wrong. That's the point. The point is you're supposed to be able to have the conversation, that it's supposed to be an open-ended thing. That, somewhere like the Daily Beast isn't going to attack, a virologist just simply for putting it out there, for suggesting that maybe that's what happened. Like, politicizing viruses is probably a really, really terrible idea, right? I mean, in cases like this, nothing matters more than the truth. And I have to ask, where exactly do they get their vitriolic certainty from? That it's a Steve Bannon conspiracy theory. Really? Because it seems like there's a lot of other people talking about it. I mean, here are some key questions about the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Now, this is from April last year, this article. The institute is home to the China Center for Virus Culture Collection, the largest virus bank in Asia, which preserves more than 1,500 strains. The complex contains Asia's first maximum security lab equipped to handle Class 4 pathogens, dangerous viruses that pose a high risk of person-to-person transmission, such as Ebola. So you've got a lab where they're doing things to viruses, right? They've got lots of them, 1,500 different strains. It's 8 miles from the epicenter, from where this thing broke out. I don't know. Seems interesting to me. What do you think? Anyway, I'm glad that this topic seems to be gaining a little bit of traction again. Because, again, truth matters. Truth matters. Too much damage has been done to the world already without politicizing this thing. And when things are politicized, one side is always wrong. They're always the devil. But they just might be right. That's important, isn't it? Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe, like, and share. That really helps me out. If you'd just like to listen, there's the podcast, Radio Baloney. It's on pretty much every platform. If you look for it, you will find it. Thanks a lot. I'll see you next time.